Mabuhay, or in Kapmpangan, luwit kayo. In the last video, we talked about the number of volcanoes in the Philippines and a little bit about some of the most memorable volcanic eruptions in the country, including one of the most destructive volcanic eruptions in the world that happened in my own hometown. So today, in this video, we will peek into the significance of volcanoes in the history and the culture of the diverse people of what we now call the Philippines. So first, let us answer the question, why do people love living near these volcanoes, these dangerous volcanoes? The answer is pretty straightforward. Volcanic areas by their very nature are rich in nutrients and minerals. The fertile slope and the surrounding plains have made living near these volcanoes, these dangerous volcanoes, enticing and enriching for many communities. Throughout the centuries, if not for thousands of years, people in what is now the Philippines have lived around all sorts of volcanoes. For example, the staple food in the Philippines and perhaps the rest of Southeast Asia and beyond since the beginning of history is rice. And rice farming relies heavily on seasonal rains or monsoons and the nutrient-rich land. So, where can you find such land rich in nutrients and natural resources? Where else but near these volcanic formations? From riverbeds to upland slopes, rice farmers have taken advantage of the rich, fertile soils of volcanic regions. From the ancient pre-colonial societies to the present-day civilizations in the islands we now call the Philippines have developed not just in riverbeds or by the sea, but also surrounding dormant and yes, even active volcanoes. Volcanic areas such as the region surrounding Mount Mayon are also home to the colorful endemic yet endangered biodiversity. And these majestic volcanoes are also filled with wonderful histories and mythology. For example, the story of how Mount Mayon was created stems from the legendary yet tragic love between Daragang Magayon and Araullo. It's like Romeo and Juliet, but more magical and majestic. The volcano, Mount Mayon, is believed to be the burial site of the tragic lovers. The eruptions of Mount Mayon is often associated with Daragang Magayon's own unhappiness. And when Mount Mayon is calm and not erupting, it is associated with Araullo hugging his beloved Daragang Magayon. Now, if we go to the Visayas, on the island of Negros, the volcano, Mount Canlaon, is closely associated with a supreme god of the Visayan mythology, a god named Canlaon. In fact, many believe that the gateway or the entrance to the dominion of the supreme god Canlaon was through the crater of the volcano itself. Throughout history, the volcano have also become a pilgrimage site for the Babaylans, a sacred place of worship, meditation, and reflection. Now back to Luzon, Mount Makiling, a dormant volcano in southern Luzon, is famous for its beauty and the mythical stories surrounding Maria Makiling. Today, people often think of Maria Makiling as this mysterious fairy guarding the mountain. Beautiful, but frightening. Since the colonial period, the stories or the folklore surrounding Maria Makiling have been distorted. Pre-colonially, Makiling was not a mischievous fairy. She was a goddess, the goddess protector of the mountain, best known for helping the people in need, not harming them, not unless you harm the mountain and its biodiversity. And for the indigenous Bagobo people of Mindanao, Mount Apo, the country's highest peak, is believed to be the home of the god and goddess of war, the husband and wife, Mandaragan and Darago, an evil pair who demanded an annual sacrifice of a slave in exchange of granting humans victory in battle. And in my own motherland, in Kapmpangan, our mythology is often dominated by two gods, the two kings that ruled the heavens, Apong Malyari on Mount Pinatubo to the west, and Apong Sinukuan on Mount Arayat or Bundukalaya to the east, at the heart of central Luzon, at the heart of Kapmpangan. Mount Pinatubo's eruptions, including the cataclysmic 1991 eruption, have always been associated with Apong Malyari's wrath and fury, while the calm and dormant Mount Arayat reflects the benevolence and the protection of Apong Sinukuan. And I could go on and on about the indigenous Kapmpangan and Aita mythologies surrounding Mount Pinatubo and Mount Arayat, but let's just save those for future videos. Now these are just some of the mythologies surrounding the great volcanoes in the Philippines. Mythologies that continue to give birth to the diverse and very colorful cultures of the islands. Volcanoes are pretty much at the core of our roots. And these are not that surprising, even if you don't believe in these mythologies. Scientifically speaking, the leading theories on how the islands of the Philippines were formed are also thanks to these volcanoes. Tectonic and volcanic activities in the Ring of Fire quite literally threw up molten earth to form what are now the 7,641 islands islands of the Philippines, similar to what created the almost 18,000 islands of Indonesia and the islands of Hawaii that is also home to our Austronesian cousins. So yes, volcanoes are not just destroyers of life, but also givers of life, long before our own ancestors set foot in these islands, long before these islands were even formed. And that is it for me today. If you like these videos, if you learned a thing or two, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, show your support and please be my patron. Takalpong salamat. See you next time, or in Tagalog, kita kits, and in Kapampangan, mi kitiks.